Hello and welcome to this special broadcast right here on CNBC-TV18. We are in conversation with the TRAI chairman, Mr. P.D. Vaghela. Now, he took over the reins on the 1st of October 2020, and that is the time where we had an interesting mix of matrices. So that's the time that we were in the midst of the COVID lockdown. We also saw the impact of the AGR crisis unfold. We've also seen the 5G spectrum auctions and then subsequently the fastest 5G rollout. We've also seen numerous developments on the regulatory front to promote growth in the broadcast industry. So it's been an exciting time, Mr. Vaghela. Thank you so much for joining us, for being a part of this conversation. As we move forward, there is a growing demand within the telecom industry that, look, we provide the network, we provide the infrastructure. There should be some compensation from the OTT players. They should at least compensate us some formula. Right now, they're not on what the formula should be like, they're only on the principle. In your experience, from the 3 years, from your experience in some of the other jurisdictions, what is the way forward from here?
See, let us agree that TRAI in 2018 has recommended that there is no need to regulate OTT. At that time, TRAI's main concern, at that OTT was growing, and TRAI's main concern is always, consumer interest. Consumers are getting something, free and cheaper, that, TRAI should, promote that. But in the last, 5 years, a lot of things have changed, and all over the world, and most of the telecom operators, they are now claiming that, and that, their networks are congested because of the, rise of the OTT, and, and they should be compensated for, for carrying the OTT content. So in that connection, government also had, sent a reference back to us and asked us to do the consultation again. And we have issued a consultation, and it's a very, very contentious and very, very, I would say controversial subject. The consultation is still going on. They had asked for more time, and we are yet to do the OST. After OST, TRAI will take an appropriate, stand and give recommendation to government on this issue. But it is a very, very fascinating subject, I should tell, and we have to be very careful both ways. That the OTT should not be stifled, its growth should not stifle. At the same time, how do we handle the concerns which are raised by the telecom operators? So how to do a lot of balancing. Thank you.
I think it's a very interesting answer that you give us in terms of setting the framework. A very controversial decision, like you said. But moving from one controversy to the other, I just want to get a sense of one of the aspects that defined the beginning part of your tenure was the AGR issue, the way it panned out. There was a lot of engagement that the TRAI had also done on the subject. I just want to get a sense that when history looks back at this AGR issue, do you think this is a battle in your sense as a telecom titan? This is a battle that the centre could have done without in interest of the health of the industry?
See, whether we like it or not, license fee is there, and with license fee is there, concept of AGR will be there. And now, it is a settled question in the, court of law. Honorable Supreme Court has given a judgment, and there has been accepted by the government. In that circumstances, we have to see how can further we can work on that. So I think the issue is settled. There may be some issues, what should be the part of the AGR and which should not be the part of the AGR. Recently, DOT has done immensely, very good job by giving further clarification. Now the issue with the license fee, whether that is very high or it is very, what should be done about that. So that an issue, I think TRAI had recommended that license fee should be reduced, but government in its wisdom has not accepted that fact. That license fee is here at present to stay. So an AGR definition has been, I think has been now, I think a lot of things have been removed. Most important, the reforms. It has, for example, reduced the interest rate. Right, that is one thing. Secondly, penalty has been removed. Right, bank guarantee had been reduced a lot. To a great extent, only 20%. Recently, we have again further, recommended there should be a single bank guarantee, performance and financial bank guarantee. And so that way, what I understand that the kind of reforms the government has taken and the kind of actions has been taken with regard to ease of doing business has helped the sector. So there are some issues still. For example, Vodafone, for example, it has not been able to implement 5G. And for example, BSNL again has now started implementing 4G with the indigenous technology. That is great thing. but they will be now, I think, implementing 5G also. So that concern remains that BSNL and Vodafone, they have not implemented 5G. In what way the competition will span out, and how will how will the subscribers behavior will change the subscriber base among the various stakeholders. Especially, we are worried that BSNL and Vodafone both are losing their subscriber base. So we will be very happy if Vodafone can implement the 5G at the earliest.
Fair enough. You mentioned, sir, some concerns that you have with respect to Vodafone. One of the concerns that they have is with respect to fundraising. This question, sir, I want to ask in context of the very recent TRAI recommendations that the entry barriers need to be done away with, the bank guarantees need to be merged, they need to be, it need to be creating an environment where it is easy for investors to come in. When you look at this Vodafone crisis and when you look at these recommendations, do you see interest by investors and telecom players on the fringes, sitting on the sidelines, wanting a slice of the Indian telecom pie? Do you see that happening?
See, actually, there were certain entry barriers, and government itself has sent this reference to us that we should re-examine the whole issue. So, we had a very hard thinking on this, and we are asked very tough questions in our consultation paper. Should there be entry barriers to be at all there? But considering this thing that this sector is very sensitive, it has a lot of security issues also. We cannot do away with some sort of applications, not that. But in some cases, we have done away with the application fee completely. We have done away with entry fee also. In many cases, we have done away with. And wherever we couldn't, do away with that, we have reduced that at a great level. So I think this will, according to me, enthuse the new investors to come to the sector, especially say for example ISP. A, B, C, and many other small players. For them it will be very VNO for them. VNO, we have reduced the entry fees and the applicant period to great extent. I think it's only 10% or 90% we have reduced, because compared to other countries, here VNO somehow has not become very popular, and the government and the TRAI's concern is that the VNO should be there, because VNO is there, they will actually contribute to infrastructure, and the telecom operators who have the problem of raising finance, maybe the small VNOs or the VNOs at the LSA level, they can actually help in coming out with the infrastructure and providing the service to the telecom operators. That way, the issue of raising the capex by the telecom operator can be reduced. Actually, that way, we have also recommended, unbundling of the network and services, telecom services network, and that government is considering. And I think, so if that is done again, the stress on the telecom operators can be reduced great, and more investors can enter into this service sector. That is what we will do.
But do you see, sir, active interest by people sitting on the sidelines wanting to be a part of the Indian telecom story, investors or telecom players themselves? There were conversations on Verizon, the likes of Amazon, wanting a slice of the
So that is about space sector. See, let us understand one thing, that in telecom, especially when it comes to the access and terrestrial network, huge investment is required in form of fiberization, putting up towers and BTS, and then purchase of the purchasing the spectrum. In addition to, of course, having very elaborate arrangement for marketing of the products. So it would not be easy for the people to enter the market unless they are very big people. That is one thing. But there are many other service providers where the possibility, first I told about VNO or ISP or for infrastructure provider. We have recently recommended creating one category of licensees, that is called DCIP, digital connectivity infrastructure provider. Here they can provide even active infrastructure also. So there also that will also enthuse a lot of people to enter the market. And see, let us be very clear. So digitalization of this economy and society is here to stay. And if you see look at the India and the rate at what the digital is taking place is mind-boggling. So, for example, in UPI, the digital public infrastructure, UPI, we handle almost 45% of the online transactions every day, right? So digitalization is here to stay. Telecom infrastructure is key to everything. Infrastructure and network is key to digitalization of the economy. naturally, as digitalization takes place, more investors will be will be required. There will be huge demand of the digital products and digital services. So I am very hopeful that more investors will enter into this market.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Let me then ask you a question from a consumer standpoint, and I think this has been one of the most defining features of your tenure, which is UCC, the battle against spam. Now, in our experience, from the consumer experience, this is proving to be some kind of Hydra monster where you cut one head and there are two heads that takes its place. How do you describe this journey on the battle against spam and UCC?
See, spam and UCC, this is a problem which is faced by all the countries all over the world. And we had organized one regulator conference here when TRAI completed 25 years. And there are huge challenges. One challenge is that the spammers, they are one step ahead always, because they also have access to the technology and they can use the technology in order to spam, in order to defraud the people. And this is a very big problem. Personally, for example, I will also say that I am also put through a lot of inconvenience and harassment. We also receive a lot of SMS and phone calls which you don't want. So that too I look it two way. One is that if people do need information on various products and various services, and so how do you connect the advertisers and the innocent advertisers and the consumers? So that is one aspect we have to handle. Instead of telling that we will not allow anyone, instead of that, can we brought in some sort of consent mechanism? And I'm very happy to state that TRAI recently has now introduced consent mechanism, and that now is being implemented. And I think next 2-3 years, another implementation will be completed in this sense that people will take the consent if they want to send the send any kind of advertisement or message or information to you. For example, an architect. The architect may be interested in some aspect related to architectural products or information. So the consent if he or she is giving, then I think that spam should be allowed. But the other thing, but if you don't want that, then if consent if not given, then if you send that, there has to be penalty that we have now already provided. This is one thing. But one big problem is that of fraudulent activities. That includes identity theft. That also includes financial frauds. These are the two things which we should be worried. And we have come out with now our detailed UCC guidelines, and we also now have got one separate telephone series that is called 141. So transaction, there will be one line. So all the banks and all the financial institutions or all other people, they actually when they want to send some message, they will be taking this particular series. So that, for example, you are a customer of a bank. You will know that, this is the number which comes from the bank. And you will not pick up any other number, even if it's posing as a bank. So, that the 10 number nuisance can be reduced. That is one thing. Second, we have as a CNAP, that is, caller name display. That is, recommendations almost were ready. And, the Data Protection Act came. So we are now revising our, re-looking at the, legal aspect. But that can be very, great help. So you will not pick up a number unless the name is displayed. So all those people who are spammers or fraudsters, they keep on, talking to you, or they try to contact you, and you may avoid taking those kind of phones. That is the second thing which we have done. Third thing which we have done about this, that that is called collaboration. So we have TRAI took the initiative, and we formed a joint committee of regulators. RBI is there, SEBI is there, Ministry of Home is there, Department of Telecommunication is there, and then Ministry of Consumer Affairs.
Sure.
So we have a committee, and we are now looking at how to handle the fraud and spams, and a lot of work has been done. In that connection, we have issued a lot of directions, and we have amended our UCC also. And I am 100% sure, because when it comes to advertisements and other things, a lot of we have got the information that there is a lot of reduction. Problem is that of 10 number. So that we need to work a lot. It is a continuous struggle. That is what I would like to say.
Another aspect that the TRAI has been working extensively on has been the 5G rollout. We've seen the auction and we've seen the fastest 5G rollout. Can you give us a sense as to what is the next step forward in terms of, we've seen the rollout, what is the next step for 5G adoption? One aspect being some of the devices are quite expensive. So how do we enable this adoption of 5G going forward?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, India though was slightly late compared to the other countries. Now today we are the second largest subscriber base as far as 5G is concerned. And TRAI was very careful when we give recommendation. It actually, recommendation itself handles the aspect of, how do you make the technology which are based on 5G available to the, common man. So, we have recommended that every vertical ministry should actually prepare a plan on three things. One, the digital literacy on the new technology to their stakeholder. Agriculture, for example, providing digital literacy to the farmers, so and so on, right? That was first thing. Then second thing was, how can you provide them affordable connectivity? So connectivity again, I think, we think that DOT alone cannot handle this. I think vertical ministry should come. So we have recommended the vertical ministry should also prepare plans for this. And third, which is very, very important, and I think, most critical aspect of 5G and the related technology is, to developing use cases and applications. For example, agriculture. Now, AI, AR, VR based, lot of use cases can be developed, which can be very, very useful to the farmers, for the students, and the laborers, and many other people, And so this kind of, lot of work is being done in India, a lot of research institutions are there. If the vertical ministries join, if they have some sort of a formal arrangement whereby they will, invite the startups and the researchers and academicians with ideas, and when, once the ideas are come, and then, develop those into use cases, and then, masculate and give to the stakeholders, farmers, students, fishermen, at a reasonable cost. Then they will be benefited. Their productivity increase, and they will be able to to join the the mainstream of the digital economy. And this is what our concern is. Most important, another thing which we have recommended, and a lot of work has been done by the government, accepted our recommendation. They have formed inter-ministerial working group. DOT is now started working with all the ministries, how the 5G technology can be deployed by the concerned ministries. TRAI itself is working with the many ministries, and we are working with them, and we are helping them how they should go about in implementing the recommendation which we have made. One more thing important is MSMEs. See what is happening. What is happening in 5G, the Industry 4.0 is a concept which is becoming very, very, popular. So in this, with the help of AI, AR, VR, and machine to machine, actually you convert your industrial plant and machinery into a digitalized kind of a system. So that actually reduces cost. Some people say this will reduce the power requirement. This will reduce the wastage. This will also increase the productivity, and the cost reduction may be 15 to 17%. As you understand, big industries, big service providers, tertiary sector, they will go for this. What about MSMEs? So we have recommended that there should be survey by the MSME ministry of the vertical industries. What kind of adoption of digital technology is there, and then they should prepare a plan again to provide them devices, connectivity, and use cases, so that they can also take benefit of the new technology. It's a very big work, and I'm sure that government will be working on that. So 5G, unless there are two models. One is that trickle down. Technology will be there, people will take. I think in Western countries that will work. But we think that in India, considering huge base of MSMEs, it is required that there should be a government intervention in saying that the 5G technologies are adopted by the people. That is more important. People and industry both.
Okay. One of the recommendations that had come out a while back from the TRAI had been on regulation of AI. I think that is the buzzword. Everyone is talking about it. We saw conversations being had in US, Capitol Hill, where the titans of the tech industry, the likes of Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates were there. Your sense on what an ideal regulatory framework will look like? The reason I ask you is because one of the US senators, Senator Blumenthal, had recommended that perhaps there needs to be a harm-based mechanism where the harm that is caused by the AI tool, the company for that AI tool is held liable. What is this a framework that is workable, or is there a different framework that you would back for?
We were looking at the AI since last 3 years, but there was not much clarity. As soon as things became clear, and as soon as 5G was implemented, AI became a thing which was started being used. So we studied a lot of research, and according to us, it has opportunities and it has threats also. Let us be very clear. And if we can handle the threats, I think there are immense opportunity. And a country like India, which has huge skills, both engineering skills and digital skills, and we can be the world leader when it comes to AI and even I think metaverse and AR VR. We can be the world leader. So one should not shun the new technology. One should not rather look at how this technology can be harnessed and used in a way that the threats can be minimized. Like threats cannot be completely wiped out, but it can be minimized. So what we have recommended is that AI is welcome. However, it has a lot of threats, and we need not regulate each and every AI use cases or each and every AI application. We should approach we should rather adopt the risk-based regulation. So that requires a lot of deliberation, a lot of understanding, and lot of collaboration with the industry itself, consultation with the industry, and then if we can decide that these are the AI which can have adverse impact applications, or which can have adverse impact on the society, on the economy, or on the security of the nation, I think those are the AIs which can be regulated. So and then that way, but that again requires some sort of international collaboration. Because AI is a new technology. One thing which we should remember is the borderless. Everything is borderless. So AI alone will not be able to regulate it. So India, G20 for example, this issue was taken up in a very big manner by Honorable Prime Minister also. And India being such a big country, and the way we are doing great when it comes to digitalization of the country and economy, I think we can take the leadership, and we can push. We should push for some sort of some international mechanism, so that what action we take here also the same thing is mirrored by the other countries.
Mr. Vaghela, as always, keeping us guessing. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Vaghela, and we wish you the very best, not just for the next few days, but also as you move ahead. And we hope that you stay in touch and you allow us an opportunity to stay connected and to again ask you more questions. Always an engaging experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so it's very nice to interact with you.